Hey everybody, welcome to Garden for Cheap with me, Rachel. And today, I'm finally going to do that garden update. So here we go. Alright, there she is, Gnome Country. As you can see, I have several new beds, lots of additions, 2 new cattle panels, wheelbarrow, flower planters. I also have these 2 over here. So let's start there and work our way from left to right, shall we? This here was the concrete little formation that goes around, was given to me by my ex-sister-in-law. And I have, I think you can see a little bitty sunflower. And there's quite a few things growing in there. I'm not sure what all it is, but it hasn't sprouted yet and filled out, so we're looking forward to that. Here is my sad little gnome country, little gnome garden. It took some damage in the last storm. As you can see, their little arbor broke. And the grass is taking over. I have planted flowers, but it's not taking, so I'm thinking about doing succulents right here. But I have my little garden gnomes. Glow in the dark stones, little arbor, chairs, but it needs to be cleaned up. But, yep, I started building it with the broussards last September, and I finally got it together in its own little spot in the garden. Over here is my grapevine tree. Now, I've had this thing for 4 years, and it's just now starting to produce grapes. I almost pulled it out this year because I was tired of fooling with it, honestly. But I'm so glad I didn't. That my patience persevered, and I kept it. Now, you can see some don't have a whole lot on it. Let's see if I can. That's because they shriveled up and dried out. I'm thinking this requires a lot of water, and at the time it wasn't getting a lot. But that's changing in the next 10 days because it's supposed to rain every day. But I even got some hidden up under here. So we'll see if we'll get any. You can see some back there barely. But they're there. See if we can get on this side of it. Oh, there they are. They were hiding. I'll let them keep hiding. Okay, let's move over to this bed. This is my original trellis. These are apple cucumbers. These are doing okay. These aren't. It's because of the onions. Miss Lippy from Gemini Homestead informed me that the onions, and on the other side, the garlic chives are really hurting my cucumbers. But these need to be pulled and dehydrated. As you can tell, they've already flowered and gone to seed. But these are green onions, so I'm good pulling those out. I have a new tomato plant there, and this lettuce is still going, so I haven't messed with it, but I have a few more tomato plants here. That one there is an Amish paste. I really need to string it up. I just haven't done it yet. It looks like, I don't know, like heavy or something. But it's an Amish paste, and I will string it up like I did the other side. I just haven't got to it yet. I got a couple little tomato plants over here. They were late getting put into the ground because of the frost. I lost a lot of tomato plants. I lost at least 15 tomato plants. I was thinking it was only 10, but after recounting, I lost 5 more. So I went and bought some, because sometimes you have to. And there we go. But here are the apple cucumbers on the other side of the trellis. You can see these sides are doing really good. All right, over here are these planters that you can get from the Dollar Tree. I've been told they're out. A friend of mine from Organic Raw Roots Farm, her name's Terry. When she first found them, she let me know, and I went and I got 10 of them. And I was gonna do 2 towers, one on either side of the arbor entrance. But I got to thinking about Little Miss over there and the way she likes to zoom around the garden. So I decided to do it this way. And actually, I kind of like it better. It's like a little row of flowers. But there's marigolds, and I'm not sure what that flower is, but it's matching because I just bought 2 flats of flowers and planted them. And over here we have tomatoes. And if you see how this is stringed up, if you've watched Gemini Homestead, Miss Lippy's, you can see I kind of mimic it. She's the one that gave me the idea. I had already had this black string up, and for some reason that one is really loose. I'll have to tighten that up. But this is catfish twine. It's like a 250-pound test. I had full intentions of making a net going across last year and just never filled this bed up and used it. Didn't have the money to, honestly. But this year I've got it not only filled up, but I started using yellow yarn to tie to the black strings, the black test, trout line test or catfish line. Miss Lippy's the one that gave me the idea because this is softer, so it won't hurt the tomato plant as bad. So I have to give her credit for that. But I've got these. These here are, let's see, sun sugar tomato, cherry tomatoes. And you can see I do have some cherry tomatoes on it. Not as many as I would like, but considering how weird the weather's been, I'll take it. And then here's another one that I have strung up, that middle vine. And most of these ones on the outside are Cherokee Purples. This bed here, all but one I grew from seed. These are the only ones to make it on the transplants after that one frost that we had. But here's another one. This one here actually has some pretty good sized tomatoes on it. These are Cherokee Purples. That one's split because it's an heirloom, but I left it. And then there's one underneath it. And then there's a pretty good sized one there. But I have it strung up on the arbor, so to support it all the way up. Because I had full intentions of making a net last year. I just never got around to it. But all of these were started from seed, except for that one. Because that one was there, it died. So I just now put a plant in its place. This one here is Atomic Brads. I don't know if I can get you in there to see that. There we go. Those are Atomic Brad cherry tomatoes. And I do believe this one right here is too, the one that's on the pole. But this bed was 5 foot wide by 10 feet long, but I took a foot off of it because I wanted to add this bed. And because of that tree, I only wanted to go out so far. So I took a foot off of this bed and made it 4 foot. Which 4 foot is probably about as wide you really want to go. That one over there is 5, but the middle usually it just goes for flowers. But that's what you can put in. If you got a bed that's too wide, just in the center, stick flowers or herbs, something you're not going to mess with a whole lot. But this one here is my onion bed, except for these 4 little garlic. I had them sitting on the table. They were little, so I wasn't going to plant them, but they sprouted. And I figured, God don't waste good, so we went ahead and planted them. Now here is a variety of onions. It was one of them 100 bulb mixture. Some are almost ready, some aren't, so that's the onion bed. This one right here, this one is 4 by 16, and it's got a variety of things in it. This here needs to be harvested today, I do believe. You can see how big that zucchini is. There's another zucchini on the side, but that zucchini really probably needs to come off there. But I have radishes. I have a sickly looking tomato plant, more radishes, another tomato plant. And that's the way this bed is. It's kind of got an odd variety of things. See, tomato plant, a squash or a zucchini, and another one tomato plant on the end. And this is the biggest stinking radish I've ever seen. I think it's a giant radish. But it's starting to flower, so it's time to yank that sucker. Alright, over here in this bed is about 3 foot by 18 feet long. And it's technically kind of my pepper bed. Except that's a tree. But here's a tomato plant. But if you watched my video from the other day, this is where the fungus was growing. And as you can see, it did some damage to the wood. Now mind you, I burnt this wood last year. But I dug it out. There is one tomato plant there. It's kind of close to it, but that whole section, there's only one plant that I actually put in the ground. The rest are trees or weeds. So, I know we're waiting for the Texas Agriculture to get back with me to see if that was safe and I can plant out the rest of this bed. But right there is a tomato plant. And I don't know what kind, but I need to get it supported up soon. And I got a variety of pepper plants, all different kinds. I had to buy because I lost over 30 pepper plants on that last freeze. Well, on one of them, because we had 3 of them back to back. But I do have a couple of peppers already, which makes me happy. They are kind of small considering what time of the year it is, but this one here is a pimento, and I have a pimento pepper. There we go. And then we have this one my daughter picked out. And this one is called a candy cane because it's supposed to have striped yellow and green peppers. And I have one there. And that one over there is a banana pepper. So I'm glad I at least got one banana pepper. That one I did grow, I do believe. If not, no, I did buy that one. But I do have a variety of peppers running through here. They're not super large, but they're getting there. This one here is a Big Bertha. So, and then a YOLO Wonder. I wonder why it ain't growing taller. No, I'm not, because I kind of know. But that bed's new. These beds here, I don't know if you can tell it, that was the little 3x6 I had last year, and that one was the little 3x6 I had last year. I just took another 3x6 and made it 3x18. It works. I like it better, honestly. Over here is the pecan tree that I'm growing for Brett and Amy at Broussard Homestead. Hopefully it makes it and gets big and strong. If not, I got several growing throughout the yard. So out of all of them, I'm sure I'll get one. Now my potatoes haven't done well at all this year. I did have this burlap sack full, and Sydney from the Gardener warned me that those wouldn't make it a whole season, and it didn't. So I ended up dumping most of it in that pot right there, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that there or not, but it has one little potato in it growing, so I figured why not. But they've gotten kind of yellow. They have bug damage. They have frost damage. Everything. So my potatoes are not doing good this year. They're not the worst, but they definitely aren't the best. That one's probably the best one I have. And that's just a little strawberry plant that I haven't put in a forever home yet, but that's coming. Okay, this here is a little 2 foot by 2 foot bed. I don't know why. I just had the leftover pieces and decided to do it. I put in 5 zucchini round and lemon drop squash, I think it was. Way too much for that little area. Yes, I know. But one day I was planting seeds and I just started shoving them in there just to see what would germinate. And I have one pretty decent sized zucchini stalk there, so. But then you see the other ones in the corner. So maybe they'll do good, maybe they won't. But it's just what it is. But I always tend to forget about it. But that's my little 2-foot bed. 2 foot wide by 2 foot long with leftover landscape timbers. I just couldn't see not doing something with them. So I put it in between there, which was kind of a mistake because the lawnmower really doesn't want to fit around this little area. But hey, it's producing food and that's what counts. Alright, now back here I have what my roommate refers to as the baby bed garden bed. And I have corn with the trellis going up because I do have melons that I'm hoping will get high enough and reach on there. They haven't yet because of sun issues, I do believe. But I'm hoping it will. The corn is a mixture of Indian giant corn, so it was all kinds of corn in there. And then I have my purple, I think it was purple whole peas on this side. And at the end, I think it was some kind of melon, and I don't remember what kind. So we'll have to see what happens when it grows. But the trellis, this is a new trellis, and it goes over to the U-shaped bed. Now, there's a little story behind this vine. This vine was over in that bed, and I moved it over here. We're thinking that it is a wild cucamelon vine from the Broussard household from the rabbit manure. But I don't know for sure, so we'll see. I'm hoping that's what it is and it grows. Right now it's under transplant shock, so hopefully tonight's rain will do it good. And of course, I got 2 basils because you can't have a garden without basil. And then here's my purple basil. This is a tomato plant. See that tomato hiding right there? That I need to get strung up. I put it there because I was hoping it would do good. This has always usually been where my tomatoes grow, but I wanted to move it up this year by moving them around. Kind of like a crop rotation. That's kind of why that bed's getting used over there. But I got garlic, chives, and that's either oregano or thyme. And I know I should know, but I don't. Because one's like a German thyme and an Italian oregano, and I can't remember which one's which. I'm not sure what that is. That's probably another tree because I have tons of those. Here's some more of these apple cucumbers growing up on this side. But the garlic, we'll wait for the massive plane going over my head. The plane, boss, the plane. Bub, that was for you. Anyway, there's a garlic growing, and it's taking too much nitrogen from the cucumbers, the apple cucumbers, but they're still kind of making it. That was a rogue onion from last year. If you can see that, that's going to probably be a massive one. And then there's the other, the thyme or the oregano. I can't remember. They got mixed up and lost their tag, and I'm not an expert at herbs yet. This side here is my strawberries. I have plans on moving these little babies into a permanent home. This is not it because I'm tired of fighting the bugs. They get more of the strawberries than I do. But this is the other trellis that goes up and over. And oh, this bed has its own story. This is the bed that for like 7 days something was digging into it. And I had just planted a bunch of seeds and I had no idea what it was. Come to find out, one of the things was my dog. I'm sure there was another creature also, but my dog was caught red-handed. But I blame it on the blood meal. But I know I planted at least one loofah gourd, at least one birdhouse gourd, and then some melons. I also planted carrots. I also planted kale, and I also planted cucamelons. So we'll have to see. But you can see kale and stuff sprinkled throughout, and if you look even closer, you can see carrots. But I did add a tomato plant there, and one over there today. And I think these on the end are purple whole peas. But I think that's more kale. But there's all kinds of things growing in here, and I'm not sure because the seeds got scattered from one end to the other. But sometimes that happens in gardening. You just gotta roll with it. Alright, that's pretty much it for this little area. But, you know me, that ain't it. I can't stop there. No. Can you hear the plane in the background? That was a massive plane. I finally got the spiral planted. Now, I don't have the pond done yet. But at least I do have life in the spiral. And there's another bed on the other side of the fence that I have to show you. And the dog about just took me out. Can you see her zooming? There she goes. Oop. There she went. Alright, here's the spiral. I have put some marigolds and some petunias in there. I did that today. And then there's something, I don't know what you call it, voluntary? Yeah, right there. I think it was a zinnia, I'm not sure. The marigolds looked pretty bad, but I planted them anyway. All the way around, it's like marigold petunia. Marigold petunia. Except I don't know what that is, so I left it. Because it kind of looks like a cucamelon. Or some kind of ivy vine. And there was something right there. I wasn't too sure what it was, so I left it too. But it goes all the way around. And hopefully those flowers will take root and go crazy. Up here I have my sage and my rosemary, and underneath the rosemary is a petunia. But if you see right there and right there, that is a potato slip sweet potato vine plant. It doesn't really create sweet potatoes, but it's in the same family. Excuse me. The first year that I built this, I put two of them in there, purple and the green, and they just kind of took over, and it was so beautiful the way it filled it out. So I decided to do it again this year. But I still really need to dig out the pond and make it bigger and put the fountain back in. And my rosemary looks a little rough. But I grew that from seed 3 years ago. So if I lose it, I lose it. I will be sad, but it is a beautiful plant. Hopefully it comes back in full force now that it's in its forever home. Alright, here's the other bed I talk about, but I don't show too often. This one has 5 new tomato plants that I've just put in there. There, and there. And then I have 2 hot peppers. This one here is about 12 feet in length. Sorry, I dropped something. And I think it was about 2.5, 3 feet wide. I didn't plant anything in this section because of this door likes to open up and hit it. But I have, the tomatoes are purple Russian, and then I have 2 hot peppers on the end. But hopefully I don't forget about this one too often and forget to water it. But we're supposed to get like 10 days of rain, so. But you can see how that's a real hot one. And then the hot pepper chipotle. But those are my 2 hot ones with the tomatoes going across. So we'll see how good this little spot does this year. Last year it was just a flower bed. And next year it may just be a flower bed again. Who knows? Alright, so there we go. Finally, the gnome has showed you around gnome country. And all of its little glory. The pun, little. But anyway, guys, if you liked that video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you hadn't. And I will definitely see you on the next one. Hey, and we did it before the rain fell.